to be this full, one-pointed attention. That being very, very rigid on the path and say, no, this is not really helping me make progress here. That's not really, that's not the training I'm doing. That's not what I want to achieve. So it's often it starts with small things. This is not really favorable for my Krishna consciousness, but it's a small thing. All I can easily do is a small thing. But the nature of it is the small things gradually becomes bigger. And then we take one step, and we say like when you give the devil the hand, you take the whole arm. So when we give a moment for Maya, she will gradually take the whole arm, and then she will swallow also. So the process of Krishna consciousness is a series. We are definitely very fanatic about our religion, our dharma. We are very fanatic, but in a good way. But we are very strict about following all the rules and regulations, doing our very best, coming to the level where we actually can conquer Maya. And that's impossible on our own. But following the process, acting upon Krishna's instruction, Krishna takes care. That is it. Krishna will take care for the devotee who really endeavors, who gives his heart, Shraddha, who tries his best to make progress. And that's really all we can do. Try our best. Do our best. But often what we think is our best is not our best. So yes, it's a struggle, but it's a nice struggle. And it's for very good goal. For very good goal. But we need to have the goal. Otherwise we cannot score. If there's no goal, we cannot make a goal. So we need to know what are we aiming for. And that's why Shastra is so important. And then we don't need, as Prabhupada says here, we don't need to try to find out, oh, should I go this way, should I do this, should I go this way? We just follow easily what is there in Shastra. Okay, thank you very much.
It seems like when we are bhaktyas and bhaktyas, then we get this push all the time from the temple commander or temple president, to push us further in our services, do it nicer and nicer. They teach us how to do Sankirtan and how to cook, and one learn all the time new things and like that. But then after some years, and also if one move outside of the temple or whatever, but it's seems more like one is really, it's everybody, you have one may have many friends, but still it's like you have your space and I have my space and a free choice and will and all of that. So it seems like at that time much more up to oneself to really develop that desire to make that extra push and to become Krishna conscious.
Yeah. It's a very dangerous situation. It's so fortunate to live in an ashram. Extremely fortunate. I can see it now when I'm always so much alone. I can see it's not good for me. It's just like, in the beginning I was really keeping and trying. I'm fine, but I can see it's not good for me. So I need to do something to find out how to keep that discipline. Because you're so protected, right? You're so protected when you're around devotees constantly, so protected. It's real luxury, having that opportunity. So yeah, that's the whole process of Krishna consciousness, is to stay as close as you can connected to the devotees who are serious. And then they carry us well. It becomes easy. As you say, the temple commander, we have no temple commander, we have a temple president. And he will come and say, if we are sleeping too long, hey, what are you doing? Get up. And we are constantly being pushed, doing some practical service, see that we are chanting our rounds, everything is taken care of. So then there's very little scope for the mind, very little space for the mind. So that's a That's the beauty of what Prabhupada gave us. And that's why you open all these temples. So you probably give the example, it's like business people, they come together. They have their lodges and they have all their... So they come together and talk about their things. We have our temples, we come together and talk about our things. And that makes us strong. Prabhupada made the morning Bhagavatam lecture. The whole program there is so powerful. Keeping us on, at least over, some degree over one. But really to get free, we need to put in there. But the program, just Prabhupada's program, genius program, is keeping itself. Just by living in the temple, following that program keeps us floating. But if you really want to make progress, that takes the endeavor from our side. Then we really need to get up and be serious when you're chanting, and be serious when you're studying, and be serious in our relationships.
You mentioned this push, like suffering can also be like it's mercy, because it's Krishna's pushing. And I had this experience on the vegetarian Saturday, which was exactly like that. And I was also thinking this is Krishna's mercy, because he was like, it was very cold, and I had like some kind of desire to like engage in devotional service, like for Krishna. I was trying to find out like how to do that. And then he made my arms very cold and the rest of my body. So I was kind of forced to like walk around and dance and like move my arms and like that. And so I found out when I was doing that, hey, this is blissful. Like I'm engaging in devotional service. This is really blissful. So it was exactly the thing that I needed. So it was exactly like you said, like a nice push this way.
Yes, but sometimes the push will not be there. And then we need to push ourselves. And that's really the practice. That often we are carried around like we are being pushed by either by the devotees or by the material nature. But sometimes we need to push ourselves. And that's a challenge. But if we can step up to that challenge, that's when we make progress. Because it's so easy, Hare Krishna. It's so easy like to, okay, now I'm not being pushed, so it's so easy to fall down. Just we can see the way we sit, right? It's so easy to fall like this, isn't it? Do it all the time. Oh, so this is the way. it's so difficult, isn't it? It's constantly because the material nature is just like that. Muscles just wanna sump into something. But this is really how we should sit. See how proud he was constantly sitting straight. He was walking tall. He was not so tall, but he was walking tall, really. Having because what we are doing, our body language, or like speaking to others, but even more speaking to us. So if we are sitting like that, we are saying, okay, go to sleep, or at least hibernate. So then the intelligence also goes like this. But if you sit properly, so that's just like, it takes the endeavor. It takes the endeavor, whenever we find out, better I sit up. And then we sit up and we can immediately feel the difference. We immediately feel the difference. And we are constantly talking to ourselves, that's the mind, constantly talking. So what is it talking? So when we hear this talking nonsense, we should know, hey, I'm falling here, I'm losing it. So by endeavor, hey, this is not what should be going on. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we should be the fighters. Even though we have the help, we should still be the fighters. We should still constantly try to make that kind of progress. To push ourselves. Even when we are pushed by others, but even more when we are not. Then we should push ourselves. And that's where Krishna will give more. When we see we are qualified to not be independent, but stand on our own feet. Because we shouldn't be, in that sense, relying on others. Prabhupada said we should not be like in a train, you have the locomotive and then you have all the cars or wagons. Right? So the wagons, they're just being pulled. But we should become a locomotive. We should be the one who's able to pull, first of all, ourselves and then others also. And that's why it's so important that we actually get to the point where we understand what is in Bhagavatam. So we have something to give. So that we can change people, so that we can become a locomotive, so that we can become a guru. Guru har not cut this. That we should all, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, we should all become guru and deliberate this whole country. That's our duty. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us that task, that service to become guru. So the whole thing starts with, first of all, we need to be our own guru, in the sense, not that we of course need a guru, an external guru, but we also should be our own guru, in the sense that we're constantly preaching to our mind, constantly trying to get on the beat. But otherwise, because there will never be a time where you always have somebody there trying to carry you around. That's just the way of natural nature. At one point, you'll have to do it yourself. Prabhupada gives the example of flying your own airplane. To start with, when you learn flying, you have somebody, a co-pilot there with you. And maybe in the beginning he do the whole thing. But then later, gradually you take over, but he's still there. So if something goes wrong, he can step in. But at one point, you have to get in your own airplane and fly without no one else. So that's also Krishna consciousness. We need to come up to the point where we're actually able to fly our own airplane. Be our, don't misunderstand it, but be our own guru. We still need our Siksha gurus and Diksha gurus, a Diksha guru. But we should also in that sense be the guru of our mind, preach to ourselves, be the motivating factor in our own lives. And when we are trying to set the example for others, that makes it easy. Because often we have the tendency to be lenient with ourselves. Oh, it doesn't matter, it's just me. But if it's for others, so when we have somebody we want to help them make progress in Krishna consciousness, we all experience that. When we have somebody we're preaching to ourselves also. We are hearing, because all what comes out of our mouth. How can I speak this if I'm not ready to do it? Actually, you go crazy. If you preach what you're not doing, you gradually go crazy. Not that you necessarily get, but the mind becomes wicked. So we need to act as we're preaching. Otherwise, the mind just becomes wicked, and then we lose the power. Okay, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.